Good morning, folks. Welcome to our broadcast. Welcome. Wherever you're joining us from this morning, this Friday morning, Friday the 21st day of March. Yep, we got a couple of days left, good folks. We got a couple of days left. Raul Gulliver and Jilly G and all the other folks. Good to have you all on the live this morning. Great to have you guys here. Yvette and Pinky Kerr. Pinky. Belinda Halls and Sandra Hanover. Auntie Sandra. Morning to you guys. How you folks doing? How's the coffee in your utensil for drinking? You know, some of you don't like the cup. Some of us. How is your tea? How is your porridge in your utensil for drinking? Fidel Innes, Shine Griffith, good to have all of you on the live this morning. It's the morning after the night before. The morning after the day before, Siobhan. Good to have you all here on this Friday. Friday the 21st day of March. 2-1. 21st day of March. What's the plan for the weekend? I know Claudine LaRose Duqua got some plans for the weekend. Claudine is joining us from Kokwani, marching Kokwani this weekend. I'm happy I called Kokwani when it was quiet and nice. I'm happy that's how I caught it. Quiet and nice, you know? No big fanfare. I love it. What are you guys doing for the weekend, folks? I'm looking forward to a quiet weekend. You know, sometimes you want the weekend quiet, but people planning for you. People conspiring and scheming. 'Tis the season. 'Tis the season. A lot of things happening. A great many things happening, folks. 'Tis the season. We hope wherever you all are joining us from, you all are good this morning. You all are great this morning. That you all are fired up, and you all are ready to go this morning, folks. You know, heard a lovely jingle this morning as I was a song. It was not a jingle per se. A lovely song as we were coming on. You know, we like to share everything with you guys. We don't necessarily want to keep anything to ourselves. You know, we believe in sharing, folks. Wide and far, we believe in sharing. Good morning. How are you folks doing? Trying to get you all up and running. Trying to get you all up and running. Good morning to you folks, wherever you all are joining us from this morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Wherever you all are joining us from, I want to share this song I heard this morning. Should have come in with it. You know how you do it. You rock and come in. That's how we should have done it this morning. Rock and come in with it. You know, and we have to kind of rig it up because you know I want to explain myself. I get to search engine. I don't explain myself too much. We had to pull it together. Give you all a listen and tell me what you all think. Tell me what you all think, folks. You know, we'll see you guys on the other side of it. You know, you feel like shaking, you feel like you know, doing a little bop or something. Don't let I hold you back. Don't let I alone hold you back, folks. Hold my back, hold my back. Don't let I alone hold you back. Don't let I alone. Look, my Lord, we can get it. We can get it, yes or no? Let's see. Bear with us. Hope I didn't disappoint you all. Shame myself. She was born in Guyana, and she prayed like hell. Her name is Melissa, better known as Mary Bell. A woman with pride and dignity, she is not afraid of anybody. Raising her voice, always defending democracy. She was born in Guyana, and she prayed like hell. Her name is Melissa, better known as Mary Bell. A woman with pride and dignity, she is not afraid of anybody. Raising her voice, always defending democracy. She always finding the time and the courage to come and speak her mind. Always ready to answer your call. She ain't afraid of no one at all. So let me stand together and give me support to the sister. So this is not joke. So we support. All this is for the woman. Always ready to learn and help. When you talk, everybody listen. Because we know it's wrong if you are like it. So now it's time for boots on the ground. Show support for the things you have done. It's time we make room. It's all a guarantee. Every day we see you're complaining to us. She does do is a night only with you. And if this a fuck up to this day, she never ever told anyone. It was a true thing to take company from anybody. Serious thing like domestic abuse, even sometimes the police not with you. But she follow up on them serious matters. So about Diana, they say we strengthen unity. Let me show support for Auntie Nelly. Please don't talk your back. Auntie Nelly is on direction. People just bring their business to she. No satisfaction is guaranteed. And even them politicians, of course, and members of the Guyana police force. Your enemies want to see you fall, but your supporters want of this and all is a massive proof. It's all a guarantee. I cannot understand. All right, folks. Welcome back. We're gonna get it right. And we are gonna adopt that. We're gonna adopt that as our we're gonna adopt it in the interim. Try to bring it to you. We want you to get it, you know, Valid, credible information. Oh, yes. And John, what do you think? Yvette and Jacqueline and Denise, what did you guys think? Yeah. Jilly G wants to know who sing it. You see how somebody else did? Who sing it? Who composed the music? You understand? If I tell you who sing it now, next tomorrow, them boys are harassing the person. You see? Jilly G, good morning, Melanie and Gail and Avril and John and Yvette. Good to have all of you folks on the live this morning, wherever you're joining us from. Good to see you folks out here. Good to have all of you on the live. Y'all didn't tell us, but we know. Y'all didn't tell us, folks. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Jacqueline's a great song. Yeah. We can get it right. We can put it together correctly. Right, we're playing it through something to come into the system and couldn't get it rigged up in time properly. All right. G want to know where she can get to hear it. We're going to put it up on our Facebook page. We're going to put it on our YouTube channel. You don't worry. She want to know who write it, who put the music, who composed the music, who buy the paper that you write it on. Rena Marks. Good to have you, Avril and Carmen. Joylyn says, love it. Yeah, we're going to circulate. We're going to circulate. Right. You don't worry a damn thing. We can get it right. Good to have you all on the live this morning. Slow pace in the mornings. I love it. Y'all didn't tell me what we know. Rubio coming. How many times for the year we saw Pompeo here? Pompeo might be right now at Pegasus or the Marriott. How many times for the year? And then they told us that they've hired this lobbyist to lobby the White House in different issues. $50,000 a month. You telling me I must believe that they and say, look, 50,000 US is a lot of money. As a matter of good faith, if you got pulled, we got a girl causing us some problems. We got a girl causing us some trouble. Melly Mel is her name. If you claim you got pulled in the Trump administration and you have the ear, and the guy that they hire is a Latino guy. No, Marco Rubio is the highest ranking Latino. Secretary of State now, highest ranking Latino. Right? The guy who is doing the lobbying, he's a politician too. So he would know. Rubio would know him. He would not be a stranger to the political circles. 50,000 a month. And you can't tell me they didn't say, we got a little troublemaker, rabble rouser, a little upstart, a redder man. That's a sure good faith that you all got pulled. Here's what we want you to do. So Rubio's coming next week. She's visiting a couple places and he'll be here. It's the third Secretary of State in under 5 years. Guess what producing here, some man is sugar? His rum is molasses. What is it? What is it? What are we producing here? What is it? What are we producing, so? I know some of y'all understand these things better than I do, top to bottom. IR was never my forte. Did a couple of courses, somewhere between doing communication studies and reading for degree in law. Somewhere there, did something, But some of y'all understand the thing top to bottom. Kevin Passat, Jilly G, far more than I ever could. When my boy Ron lost in, what is he to say on this? Ronaldo. What is he to say on this? He's coming. He coming. Uncle Willie coming. We gonna have a nice time. A pam pam. Lock and chat. Pam pam. How many of you remember that song? That one just come to me like that, you know. You know the poet, the late, great, or national poet, Martin Carter. He once said some poems come to him full blown like the wind. I understand that. Sometimes the thing is crystal clear. Right? Carmen Bailey says, the oil, Rubio, coming for. Sometimes the thoughts are crystal clear. Sometimes you got to fight for it. You got to strain. You got to exert some effort. And then sometimes the whole thing is laid out for you. Crystal clear. Uncle Willie coming. We're going to have a nice time. Lock and check. Paulette, good morning. Paulette, good morning. Don't let nobody steal your joy. Don't let nobody. Anjo, good morning. It's all this is we own show. Whatever we want to do and say within the ambits of the law. Within the ambits of the law. So Rubio coming. We welcome him. You know, it's not every day you get 3 head of states visit you in 2 weeks. The 3 Secretary of State. These boys doing something. Something. Them boys got to now come watch him at close quarters. I said, these people, is what wrong with them? Huh? The Rubio got to see them at close quarters. It's one girl got all these people here fighting up. Let me come and see what kind of trench crapos and jagabats we got on this side of the Atlantic. One girl got them all of this. $50,000 US a month. Let me come and see what else happening in the 592. You know? You come, you see a lot of Spanish. You know if you're in Venezuela or you're in, you know? You know if you're in Venezuela or you're in Caracas. You know if you're in Venezuela or you're in Georgetown. You know how? Jacqueline Johnson, Deborah Marshall. Good to have all of you on the line. He's coming. You know, he's coming. Of course, parliamentary opposition won't get no invitations. You see? No. Just like flag raising. Not like the week after flag raising, when the incursion happened and then they want you to support. Right? This is now back to square one because in Irfan Ali's mind, in Jagdio's mind, the danger's past. So we got as you were, Nigel Blas. Persona non grata. Persona non grata. That's the status quo. We have returned there. So you won't get an invitation. Right? Because the last thing they want is opposition telling the Secretary of State the truth. That's the last thing that they want. You see that? But I hope they raise the issue of, the least they could do is raise the issue of Venezuela. You know? Raise that issue. There's a beautiful line in one of Martin Carter's poems. It talks about the history of our wounds. How can I tell you the history? I'm doing a rough paraphrase. The history of our wounds. I hope he tells, you know, Rubio, the history of our wounds. This incursion is just the latest. And then they want to carry us back now to Argyle. They want Gonzales. One carries back kicking and screaming to Argyle. The dead agreement. Right? That's like trying to teach us Latin. The dead agreement. Right? And all the talk and bluster you would never hear. You know, we're so grateful for President Granger who took the initiative. And that 18 million signing bonus that Exxon gave to procure good attorneys, good representation for us before the ICJ, where we rightfully place this matter. And not bluster from some bully pulpit or some pulpit in Caracas. You'd never hear that. But at least the history of our wounds, I hope, to borrow a phrase from the late, great Martin Carter. Listen to me, people. Politics is all well and good. But don't let me die on this hill. Don't let me die on this hill. Folks, I encourage you, every one of you, don't just walk on dead. You hear me? Challenge yourselves. Read some good books, some good literature. I ain't talking about Facebook. Good books. Good books. Alan Paton, Cry My Beloved Country. Nadine Gordimer, a fantastic South African writer. I'm just calling some of my favorites. Right? John Le Carre, fantastic French writer. Yeah. You got some wonderful Cuban writers as well. Guyanese writer. You know, read some good poetry. Treat yourselves once in a while, a little vacation somewhere. Somewhere. You know, because we're in this whole election thing, I told my wife, let me stay indoors this year. We ain't going no place outside of Guyana right now for vacation. Right. So every little chance we get, we can take 2 days, refire and come again. That's why we went down to Kukwani. I didn't want to do work per se, but sometimes you see the thing, you can't avoid it. You know, they let box me a couple of times and say, hold on, focus. Carry me in this water, let me splash up a little bit. Well, I take that as my cue. Carry me in the water. You see, hold on, folk. Enjoy. Diane Abrams, let us commit. We ain't just walking and dying. Now we can live a little bit. We can see. We can eat little fish curry. Perhaps not catfish, but right? We can eat little roti. We can eat. We don't only wait until Christmas for the little walnut and the ice apple. We wait until Christmas for the little pepper pot. Sometimes we just treat ourselves. You know, some of the places you got locally here sell stuff reasonable. You might see a big fancy name, the people dress up the place nice. Oh, they're expensive, man. I can't go in there. Think, treat yourselves. Treat yourselves. Don't wait for these boys to treat you thing because you know nothing happening. Nothing ain't happening. We got other people coming and enjoying the country better than we. No. We're going to live a little bit. Right? Here Marvin says, Maria Vera. Maria Vera says, enjoy some good food and wine too. I ain't want to forget that. And wine too. About 2 or 3 years ago, I procured a book, bought a book. I ain't thief it. Bought a book on wines. Folks, it opened my eyes. As Maria mentioned, wine there. Wine is history. Wine is agriculture. Wine is socialization. When I started reading about wines and how wines are made, you know, vintage, what comes from where in the world, wine is a fascination. I mean, I don't like the drinking so much, you know, but every now and again, the good book says a little bit of thing is good to the infirmities, and God knows I got plenty of infirmities. You know, read. Not only Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm fascinated how much time people spend on TikTok just trolling. You read. There's so many magazines in the world. You can't go to some of these places. Read about them, people's experience, and you know, my God. Read. Elizabeth Ryan says, enjoy good food, vintage wine. And listen to this, great friends. Great friends. Enjoy great friends. Enjoy great friends. A couple months ago, a great friend and I, my wife and himself and his wife, we just took a night at Marriott, whatever the restaurant is called, you know, we just talk about life and work and, you know, try not to talk too much about the politics to spoil the evening. We had some great wine and good conversation, you know. They got very nice, cushy jobs in this country. Lovely couple, you know, just had a baby, and we talked about that and so much else, you know. As I said, we really want to spoil the evening and dabble in the politics too much. You know, we laugh at some of the food and some of the people we saw and reminisce, you know, exercise, go walking in the park, safety and stuff. Can't go walking in this country. You know, enjoy the outdoors, my love. We just walking dead in this country. Walking dead in this place. You know. Elizabeth is on the live. My aunt is there. When I visit her in the States, we gone on the trail. Those people know how to treat their citizens. We gone on a trail and we hike through, gone up some mountain. Everything is politics, politics, politics. I mean, most of it is, but not everything. So when Rubio come, I hope, you know, we convey to Rubio the history of our wounds with our Western neighbors. Vice President said yesterday in this press conference he had the corner shop show. We call it, AKA. He said we're going to deal with them appropriately. We're not going to telegraph. A young reporter asked him, you know, we ain't going to telegraph everything. We ain't going to telegraph. That's what he said. We ain't going to telegraph everything. Take a listen.
You can conduct diplomacy in the public on sensitive matters, especially the border issue. That is why the leader of the opposition was briefed. But if I were to go and say, this is our specific plan to counter Venezuelan arriving here, this is what the army is doing, it would be extremely stupid of me to do that. You recognize that. And I wouldn't want to telegraph that to the Venezuelans. So that is why those matters are being addressed. Let me assure you that those matters relating to the Venezuelan aggression against our country and their threat to our territorial integrity and sovereignty are receiving the attention of the entire government at the highest level, at the presidential level, on a daily basis. I can assure you of that. And we're working with a number of partners around the world to ensure that any Venezuelan aggression that manifests itself in a physical form would be dealt with appropriately.
Yep, you heard it there. Any Venezuelan aggression manifesting itself in a physical form will be dealt with appropriately. I hope they know what they're doing. I hope it's not just bluster, which I think most of it is. You know, sound very scared there too. You know, you'll take a tremble in the voice there. I hope he raised that with Rubio. The only thing now is how much we got to pay for security. Them boys want half the minerals in Ukraine. I heard President Trump asked to control the country's power infrastructure in a phone call with Zelensky recently. You know, he abused up the man in the Oval, and now, yeah, security is a high cost these days. A high cost. You know, we ain't just doing this we ain't policing the world for free anymore. Right? It's a little bit like what do you call it? Mercenary. You gotta pay. Pay your way. We're watching it, folks. We're watching it. You gotta pay your way. How much we got to pay? You know, what's the itinerary for this? this visit? What's on the agenda for this visit? You know, the misfire, fires of the PPP, fires of the PPP. That young lady who was instrumental in getting all those children out. You know, did the government give her a reward or anything? Anything yet? The parent who helped? Anything? See, we don't treat our own. We don't celebrate our own. We don't. We don't. Fire service says it was an electrical fault. I wonder if they listen to maybe what people say and then they say, all right, it's electrical. Because I remember the parent who saw this thing smoking said he saw something in the ceiling or something like that. By the time he got the extinguisher, the thing has spread so rapidly. You know? I want to say, all right, that sounds like electrical to me. Ceiling, there's only wires up there, it's got to be electrical. I'm not saying that is what they said. I'm just thinking out loud here. I wonder if that's how they do it. Sheila Boyd Child, Diane Graves Zandi, Deborah Marshall, Elizabeth Noren, Gwen Anderson. Well, that's how they do it, you know. Leslie Hamilton. Oh, he said he said a little smoke. No, that song in keeping with sparks and so on, wiring and so on. All right. Electrical. Right. Electrical. Sometimes they say a fan was left plugged in. And you wonder. Right? When you go to the fire scene, all you see is a black spot on the ground. Where the building was or the house. And they say, it was a fan left plugged in. And you, how they came to that conclusion? Was a fan. All you see is a black spot on the ground. Right? You know? That's like, show me the corner the man pass, and I can tell you who's the tailor. A black spot on the ground. Yeah, it's a fan. The fan left plugged in. It's like, how? You know? You might say, oh, it has to be a bomb hit this place. Look, there's just a dent in the earth now where the building was. Had to be a bomb. They say, no, it's a fan. Fun. Show me the corner the man pass. I can tell you who's the tailor. Right? I can tell you the size of the suit. Is it small? Is it slim fit? Right? I can tell you the quality of the cloth. Back in the days, they used to make suit out of saltier was the name of the thing. What we call the fabric, right? Saltier. The saltier suit. Those are the days you used to buy a suit length and go by the tailor. Suit length? What's a suit length now? So this says for electrical fault. I don't know. I got down there. All I see is rubble. Electrical. I don't know. But that's what the fire service is saying. Textbook gate. Ministry has come out. They're apologizing profusely. They print the book. It begs you to wonder. It makes you wonder what oversight we got. We always ask this. You see roads crumbling and you wonder, how did the engineer hand over this? You know, them boys improved on the road coming from Conversation Tree right through to Duncan Street. Right? And for a portion of it, they just dig up the whole road back again. You know? Because the road started getting some huge craters and you wonder, which engineer get the qualifications? Where did this PPP engineer got his qualification? Because they're supervising these projects. They must sign off on it as complete before they get the final payment and all of that. Sign off on the terms of reference and the scope of work, and that the person actually did what they said they would have done, according to the scope of work, such and so forth. And the same thing with these textbooks. Like, what I mean, again, you're going to reference in Carter a lot this morning. Martin Carter. Poet Martin Carter. In one of his ballads, he says, who knows? One day the books will write themselves, transforming us from image to symbol to ultimate silence. My hands stop on the truthful page. Shall it be told? I was a boss in my days, you know. Y'all catch me the late end. Y'all catch me at the tail end. Y'all catch me when I used to own this tongue. Who knows? One day the books will write. Maybe that's what happened. The books write itself. Man was a prophet. The man was a prophet. The book probably write itself. How could that pass? Approval. A book teaching children how to ridicule a Tushao at Chinese landing. A book. In the beginning was the word. It's a book. Indoctrinating our kids. You see this indigenous people here? The great people of Taswini, fierce and warlike. You see them? They ain't like government. Look, they're rejecting the food program. And now they run out saying, my God, this is appalling. What oversights? What, like being a close on the education ministry, like see Trump dismantling the Department of Education, like we making sense. You got a whole minister. You got like we got slim now. We'll have to have our own doge now. Department of Efficiency and Government Efficiency. We gotta get our own doge now. You got prayer, big money prayer earning, big money prayer earning. You got Saddam Hussein, all these departments, this huge bureaucracy, and nobody didn't see this book going out like this. We just hand people money and say, print whatever you want, print, man, and send it. Let me teach you something. That's how we're doing it. That's how we're doing it. Well, might as well we got our own doge now, because like we're wasting time. Like we're wasting time in this place. The book has some fancy literature. Right? Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see if I can read it. Might not be able to pull it up. But I want to maybe just read a portion of it. Treat you all to the dignity. If you didn't have a chance to see this yet. It's just madness top to bottom. Top to bottom. In the village of Chinese Landing, Region 1, it's a scenario they're painting. Right? How you resolve conflicts, or who caused the conflict, or what caused. In the village of Chinese Landing, Region 1, the village Tushao refused the school feeding program. He thinks that the money is not enough and is an insult to the children. The parents, on the other hand, are happy about the program, and they will not have to prepare lunch for the children to take to school. Right? They think the Tushao is being unfair. The parents are not happy about his decision. That's for our kids to consume. So we bring them into the politics early. Right? Why this is so important? I know how long y'all following us. But Chinese Landing got some almost historical differences with this administration in terms of how they're administering their mining rights. Chinese Landing is a place rich with minerals, especially gold. And so a lot of concession was given there in the past to mine. And of course, when you're dealing with indigenous land and so on, you got to respect certain obligations you have. You know, like free, prior, and informed consent. You can't just come and do what you want to do. And so the people took them to court. You know, took them before some international institutions and so on. You know, so this is a very sensitive issue nationally. and should not end up in a school book like this. You know, it's interesting to see how this government says they love our Indigenous brothers and sisters. Don't take my word for it. There's Albert and Maria Vera, Deborah, Don Sullivan. In your own deliberate judgment and time, read up on these issues. Right? You can just type in Google or Goggle, as some people say, Chinese land and mining issue. Right? You hear about Tasawini. I think the Caribs settled here. A settlement. Right? Or the Akawayos, one of the two. Or maybe none of them, but Indigenous brothers and sisters. Read up about Isenero. Mining issues just the same. PP1 sending friends, family, and favorites. And you got wealth beneath your feet. And you can't own it. They're sending people. And you got a right, you know. Read up about what's happening with mining at Morudi Mountain. In Martin Carter's phrase, the history of our wounds. You'll understand it with Indigenous people in this country and this administration. Morudi Mountain. And then more recently, Aranaputa. Same story, top to bottom. Same story. And now, it's a blame game. It's not me. I didn't see the book, of course. We're going to run it first. I never see it. Did I forget to pass it by me? I had a copy of my tape. I didn't read it. I was busy. You can hear excuses. Everybody shifting the blame. But a textbook print. Children are being taught. Misinformation. Misinformation. A lot of it. Misinformation. So they got now we watching too. Right? We got now we watching too. I see the bringing Iswi before the court. Remember when we first learned that this young lady, Shauna Dover, beautiful young woman, violently murdered and I think buried in a shallow grave in a backyard in Region 10, Linden. Oh, we were horrified as a nation, and then we learned that the boyfriend fled to some distant place. You know? Then we learned he might have been a swinger, swinging between genders and all of that, and, you know, different proclivities and all that. Now it looks as though he's going to have his day in court. Looks as though he's going to have his day in court. You know, we find ourselves in all man relationships in this country here. This little 2x4. God help us. God help us. I saw the GCCI meeting with GPL, wanting to know their plans and lamenting about the poor electricity supply and asking them about the gas to shore project and so on. You know, yeah. You all know Nandalal's brother, Kesh Nandalal. He heads up GPL now. Friends and family and favorites. I can tell you. Friends and family and favorites. So James ain't getting nothing. Friends and family yet and favorites. Right? For all the talking you do and you get promised something. Something was promised. So Kesh head for GPL. The Attorney General's brother met with the city chamber. You know, if everything was nice, city chamber would need to meet with them. If everything was honky and dory, they would need to meet with them. 2 power ships later, people complaining the bill high. You got to pay for the power ship? Waiting. Is we paying for it? We are paying for it. That's the short of the matter. We're paying for it. Power, power, power. We're paying for it. You know? So an interesting editorial in this morning's Kaicho News, both Starbuck News editorial this morning talks about the gold. Oh, the salt. They put salt in this wound of the PPP this morning. Gold. The silence of the PPP. Staffordshire distancing themselves from gold and ISDC. Right? Liverpool distancing themselves from gold and ISDC. A number of other places too. You know, and part of what Starbuck News said in this editorial is that our students should, whatever university they are registered in through gold, find out about the accreditation of that university and goal. Find out. Take nothing for granted. Find out. Right? They're telling us that Arden University is another one that says we don't know gold, but gold saying Arden is a substitute, you know, for students who are now out in the cold from Staffordshire. Arden is a substitute, and students have asked Arden, are you affiliated with ISCC? Are you affiliated with gold? And Arden now saying, you know, we don't have a partnership with gold. We don't know anything with gold. And Arden is a university. Gold say you can go there on one of our scholarships. So it's interesting. Interesting. So while Starbuck News editorial has that, Kaicho News talking about the extractive industry and what's happening on that front with our oil revenues, you know, urging the government. This is the Guyana Extractive Industry and Transparency Initiative, right? GYEITI, Guyana Extractive Industry and Transparency Initiative, urging the government to disclose how oil revenues from the extractive sector, including oil funds, are spent on national development. Don't just say take out money from the not the consolidated fund, the Natural Resource Fund, the NRF. You take it out for the national development. What does that mean? What specifically are you spending it on? And that's how the Granger administration laid out the Natural Resource Fund Act. You got to state what you're doing it for. And then there are committees in the structure that are tasked with rationalizing now what this investment in national development will look like. Them boys got all of that. They take out everything and say national development. So this is a very, very instructive editorial in Kaicho News, you know, teasing out some of the arguments from the report of the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, that they should state specifically what they're spending the money on. Where's the money going? There's like the money for gold. You know, where is the money going? Where is the money going? But they don't like this kind. They don't like these kinds of structures. You see, they don't like these kind of structures. As I'm on gold, as I touched on gold just now, almost slipping. You remember Ganesh Mahipal, MP Ganesh Mahipal, and I had a discussion recently on the subject matter. Right? In case you missed it, somebody said, where the money going? 1,400 scholarships. Gold said they give out to Staffordshire. 1,400. And Staffordshire says, we don't know these folks. So who got the money? These exams and these grades from the Staffordshire experience, and they said, you can transfer to Arden University, for instance. If Gold said we never knew y'all, where these grades come from? Who sent the exam? Who marked the papers? If it wasn't Staffordshire? You see, there is such a high level, and this goes to the core of who the PPP are. Deceitful, untrustworthy. It goes to the core. In case you missed that discussion with Ganesh and I.
Is fraud at the center of the Gold Scholarship Award? Member of Parliament Ganesh Mahipal seems to suggest that money was channeled to the University of Staffordshire without cause. In a broadcast with Member of Parliament Sherrod Duncan, he detailed the budgetary allocation for this program.
When we approved the budget in 2024, it took into account this agreement, as Goal indicated, as Jacob Opodei indicated in his press release. 2024 budget took into account this memorandum of understanding that they had with the University of Staffordshire. And they budgeted a sum of $5,970,356,000.
He said that this was a more than $2 billion increase over the previous year's allocation. The government had claimed that there was an agreement with the University of Staffordshire and that the university had awarded 1,400 scholarships to Guyanese.
The amount of money that was spent from this line item in 2024 is $5,952,525,000. So they spent the money that they budgeted. They had budgeted $5.9 billion and they spent $5.9 billion.
This money was said to have been paid to the University of Staffordshire, which later claimed that it never had an agreement with Guyana. Mahipal wanted to know to whom was the money paid.
And these are questions about corruption that exists in the system. We are questioning the mismanagement of this program called GOAL. We are clearly seeing, because of the lack of information, the lack of evidence to supply the nation to support the claim by GOAL, the non-transparency of GOAL and the unaccountability, the unaccountable nature of GOAL, it brings into question the entire program.
There was no scholarship. No student was assigned a place at the University of Staffordshire.
So who has the money? Where did the money go? Was it sent to some associate at ISDC and then wired to probably Nigeria, the country where our dear former Vice Chancellor and Director of GOAL comes from?
Mahipal said that Jacob Opodei, who administers the GOAL program, must be investigated.
GOAL ought to be investigated and audited by independent auditors, because we're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars, and this should not be swept under the carpet.
Yeah. He's right, of course. He is right, of course. Should not be swept under the carpet. Where the money going? Where's your money going? Let me say thanks to the 1,500 of you who are joining us this morning. Live, 1,500. Thank you guys so much. Where the money going? Well, we on that goal, the other is the GOAL, the other GOLD being smuggled. That we say we know who's who doing it. We can tell you all soon. We know. There's some Brazilians, some locals as well, We know. We can see when we go on the campaign trail, we can tell you a lot of things. So there's no political. Right? There's no political. He said, we know. We catch one of them the other day. Make sure example, but we giving the rest warning. If you get caught, we giving you all edge. Bernadette, Linda, you ever get somebody edge? He said this, she's the warning shot we firing. Darcy, Audrey, Sharon, Maya, we giving you edge. Edge. Giving you all edge. That's what he said. We know who's smuggling. That's interesting. We know who's... Take a look.
The government arrested a Brazilian national who was smuggling gold out of the country, and She was charged, I was told, not just for smuggling, but money laundering. I did not verify the second part, but she got bailed. She got bailed. And it is, from what we've been hearing, it's a ring of people here in Georgetown too. I can tell you that there are operations against people who are buying gold at a price significantly above the world market price because they're evading their government's royalty and smuggling it into Brazil. And so I want to say to the people who are engaged in this that when you get caught, there are several Brazilian nationals, but there are a few locals. When you get caught and charged with money laundering, don't go and claim discrimination.
Don't do it. Don't do it. We know who you all are. Don't do it. Don't claim you get discriminated against. Don't do it. As when Jack Dio, you know, they're very afraid of the Muhammad. Very afraid. Very afraid. And let me tell you this. I'm sorry we don't have it queued up now, but I'll show you guys tonight. You remember I said to you yesterday morning, this thing is about numbers? Yesterday, the vice president, Lyman, Jack Dio, spent an inordinately long time talking about the numbers that turned up at the PPP, at the We Will Not Be Silenced rally. A journalist out of Chronicle, I think it was, almost editorializing, you know, almost editorializing, talking with the vice president about the numbers, you know, this small turnout and what the numbers mean and the numbers and the numbers. Yeah. And then Jagdio talked about the numbers that attended this Youth Development Forum the PNCR hosted over the last weekend. The numbers. Politics is about numbers. And you cannot tell me when the Mohammeds go to Essequibo, hundreds of people attending the outreaches, going out to see Answeruddin Mohammed, and you're not concerned about that. Any party who tells you they're not concerned about that, lying to you. Let's start with the PPP. Any party who says we're not concerned, lying to you. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to. You think Keith Scott will like to go someplace and 300 people come out, 400 people come out to see him? So let's be honest. The people who want to be honest, let us be honest. We're not worried. We're not afraid. If he knows he goes there and he usually draws that crowd, another man go there and drive more than you. Like I'm doing something right that I used to do. You want me a little concerned? You tell me, we're not worried. Let's be honest. The same way they say, oh, we're not behind this detention of Melissa Atwell. Oh, we're not behind this sudden fascination with GRA about claims of unpaid taxes. So in this press conference yesterday, he said, oh, GRA has to say why only now? Why 4 years later? They have to answer that and credibly. Don't tell me nobody to pass in a cabinet, a file fall out, and some person, this looks strange. And then on the foreign investigation, realize a man didn't pay me $900 million. So let us be honest. You see, when James talking about honesty, he only looking one way. Let us be honest. You remember the fellow said, We said, oh, we don't do no business with the Mohammeds. It's only after somebody leaked the thing with the boats, then they realize, like with the textbook gate, oh shucks, this thing in the textbook. Oh shucks, look, somebody grant couple of Muhammad's boat the rights to do something. Oh shucks was a mistake. And then this fellow came back the week after and said, we don't do no business. You see, we saw this thing here and we canceled it from the sanctions people. We don't do no business with them. And then a week after that, the honest folks, James, the honest folks, right? You said, let me be honest. That's not what they said. Let us be honest. Some of y'all not honesty if it bucks you in the face. You are not honesty if it shoot you with pellets. What are you telling me? You are not honesty if it shoot you with pellets. We don't do no business with the Mohammeds. Next week we see $20 million check. He said, you know, he start like the shooting. I'll forget the 20 million. It's after that we stop doing business with them. It's after that we stop doing business with them. Honesty ain't got you little honest and I more honest. Honesty is honesty. Honesty is honesty. Right? Ipso facto. Honesty is just honesty. All the way top to bottom. We don't do no business with them. Last month, people gave y'all 20 million. Last month, the people gave y'all 20 million. Paul Slow know the whole thing top to bottom. Paul Slow know the whole thing top. Are you talking about honesty? Listen, we should stay away from some things. Some topics. Let me talk about the weather. We can agree on that. Let's talk about the weather. Honesty? Is PP one associated with integrity? These corrupt boys also know the whole thing. Former retired assistant commissioner of police. Know the whole top to bottom, you know the whole thing.
It took the Guyana Revenue Authority nearly 4 years to realize that the Mohammeds undervalued some imported luxury vehicles. Nazar Mohammed, the head of Mohammed Enterprise, then said that despite his sanction, he continued to do business with the government.
So, some time ago, the vice president made it clear that, well, apparently he didn't know about the Mohammed's contribution towards the PPP and all sort of thing. They may know about that.
President Irfan Ali even denied using a vehicle loaned by the Mohammeds after he, Ali, was sworn in as president. Photographs showed otherwise.
The other evidence that surfaced over the weekend is evidence to show that the Mohammeds were supportive of the PPP. And let me show you what I'm talking about. This is the check, a Citizens Bank check for $20 million. And even said Nasser Mohammed Enterprise, and see, paid to the order, PPPC, $20 million.
But this check was provided before the sanction. Mohammed claimed that his enterprise did business to the government after the sanction.
This is the Bank of Guyana check paid to Mohammed Enterprise the sum of $21,890,000. $21,890,000. And the date of this, sorry, I didn't get the date, but this date is the 30th. Something wrong when I did the slide. The 30th of December 2024. This one is dated. I didn't observe this before, or else I would have done it over so you can see the date. But I remember the date. This date for this check, this $21 million, $21,829,000. 21, what is it? 21 million, $12,890. That is what is written there. And the date of this check is the 30th of December 2024, long after the Mohammeds were sanctioned.
A Bank of Guyana check is provided by the government. Retired Assistant Police Commissioner Paul Slow said that he's unaware of the nature of the transaction. What he's certain about is that the check was prepared by the government.
What else you want to know? Why now? Why now, GRA? General said GRA got an answer. Why only now? 4 years later. 4 years later. We not bring Doge on the GRA now too. Mainstream education lapsing. GRA lapsing. We not bring Doge on the GRA, folks. Nigel, Ian, Neville, Marlon Thomas, we got to bring Doge now. We got to get our own Doge, Department of Government Efficiency. 4 years. They're now claiming millions, hundreds of millions owed. Wow. 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 That's all I see. Folks, let us leave it. Let us leave it there for today. We're going to see you guys back on the next broadcast. Is Friday. So it's our last morning program for this week. Heading into the weekend. Rest and recuperate. We're retiring. We're refiring. Good folks. Good to have had you all week on our broadcast. We're going to see you guys on the next one. Take care, Rihanna Mingo, Nigel and Kurt and Sandra and Neville and all the other folks who are joining us this morning. Great to have had you guys in the live. We're going to see you guys back on the next one. Stay safe, brothers and sisters. Wherever you're joining us from, stay safe. Stay safe. Walk in the corner.
Thank you.